Tech Revision with Mrs. Swanee Pooh. Hi everyone, another exciting revision video for your D&T mock. Get ready for this one. This one is very exciting. So this one is all about something called knock-down fittings. Very, very simple concept. Once I show you what they are, you will recognise them. If you've ever put anything flat pack together, if you've ever built anything from IKEA, you will know what a knockdown fitting is. And we're going to talk through the positives to the user and also the positives for the manufacturer and also take you through the different types. So, a knockdown fitting is another example of a standard component. So I'm going to do another video later about standard components, but these are things that are bought in by the manufacturer. So it could be hinges, screws, nails. They don't make that part themselves, they just buy them in. They are standard and they use them in their products. So knockdown fittings are a type of standard component. They are a temporary joint. So the advantage is they can be assembled and then they can be taken apart. So knockdown fittings are temporary fittings that allow furniture to be assembled and taken apart easily. They are usually used in flat pack furniture. Okay. Now there are quite a lot of advantages and disadvantages. One of the advantages is they're very fast to use. A disadvantage is they're not as strong as if you were to glue the joints together. But if you glued the joints together, then obviously that is a permanent join and you would no longer have the flexibility of taking it apart. Also would make it very difficult to recycle or to dispose of the product after its kind of end of life. Most types of these kind of knockdown fittings, and we've got some examples here, can be assembled with screwdrivers or Allen keys, so things that you would have at home. Here's the little IKEA dude, and you can see that he's happy, or he, she, or whoever that is happy because all they need is a couple of screwdrivers and a hammer. So they are built basically with the basic equipment that you have at home, and there tends to be 4 different types. So we are going to look at the 4 different types, but I want to talk through some more of the advantages for the consumer and the manufacturer before we move on. So some advantages, so the pluses, and this is to the consumer, so the person who's actually buying the product. They are easy to assemble, easy to assembly by everyone. Okay, so that's a mistake there. Easy to assemble by everyone. So it doesn't mean that you have to have any technical knowledge. You don't need to be particularly skilled. You don't need to have a degree in engineering. You don't need to have any kind of technical knowledge. They are simple and easy to put together. Another big advantage, like we've already spoken about, they can be disassembled and reassembled. So for example, massive benefit of IKEA furniture is that you can take it home in your car, flat pack, you can easily bring it into your home without having to like maneuver and pivot it through your house. You can just assemble it in your home. And if you were to move house, in theory, you could disassemble and then reassemble it in your new place. Another big advantage to the consumer is that if any of these parts were to break, because they are standard components, you could just order some more. So on the IKEA website, you can order knockdown fittings to replace anything that's got lost or damaged, and they are readily available, all different sizes. Right, as well as advantages to the manufacturer, there are also massive advantages to, advantages to the user. There are also massive advantages to the manufacturer. So if we think of the manufacturer as IKEA for now, the joints, the knockdown fittings are manufactured in really large numbers. They are used across many different bits of furniture. So they're not just used, they're not specific to the piece of furniture that they are used in. They are, you know, the same dowel joint can be used in multiple pieces of furniture. And because they can be made in large numbers, you benefit from that scales of economy, and it makes it cheaper or more inexpensive. It's probably a better way of putting it. Okay, so it lowers costs. Another advantage to the manufacturer is They make them from different materials that can then suit the flat pack furniture. They can be different colours, they can be different styles, and that's quite easy for them to modify. This one's quite important. They are tried and tested methods of joining materials together. So they know they work, they're not trying anything different, they're not doing anything that might cause problems for the user. The customers already know often how to put these joints together because they may have done it before on other pieces of furniture. So when I was building a cabinet that I've got in my house, I had a lot of one certain type of knockdown fitting, and I recognised it, I'd used it before, which speeds up the process. And it also stops the problem of people phoning up and saying, oh, I don't know how to put this together, it's too complicated, then you get complaints, blah, blah, blah. So the way that they are tried and tested, they work efficiently, and quite often customers know exactly how to put them together, which makes it all smoother and easier for both the manufacturer and for the customer. Right, we're going to go through the 4 different types. So there's kind of 4 main types of knockdown fitting. You might recognise these. One of them is called a scan fitting. So this is where you might be screwing 2 pieces together, and it's basically a cylinder. So imagine a cylinder like this of metal, and quite often, well, it has a hole through the middle of it, and then there is a screw thread on the inside of there. So if you are putting a screw into there, you can get a very good connection between these 2 things. Rather than trying to screw into a hole of wood or something, this is going to give you a very, very strong connection. So that's what that is. A scan fitting is a little metal cylinder with a screw thread on the inside, which enables you to get a really good connection. Then we've got these, which are called cam locks. You've probably seen these before, and it's basically a disc with a slot in which fits into one part. So there's the disc there, and there's the little slot bit. And what happens is this peg goes into that slot, and as that's rotated, it kind of grabs it and pulls the parts together. And it's quite often used to join the sides of the cabinets to the top. It looks quite neat because it's mostly hidden inside. So you'll quite often get a piece of material that has a little recessed hole like that, where one of these little cam locks goes into. Okay, hope that makes sense. The next couple, these are really simple. They're called single and 2-piece blocks, and they tend to be good for holding up shelves in wardrobes. And you can see that it's really, really simply just a little block like this here, and it has a screw that goes in here and 2 screws that go down. So you can see it's almost just like a little piece that goes at a 90-degree angle, which joins 2 pieces together. They are easier to attach in tight corners, and yeah, they just basically help you to connect things at right angles. They give you like a little bit more surface area to connect things together. And the final one, which is really easy to remember, is dowels. They are little wooden rods. We use these at school quite a lot for dowel joints. The holes are drilled in, they're quite neat. You can glue them. So I've built a few things from Wayfair lately, and they've actually supplied glue for you to glue the dowel joints together. And it gives more contact, more kind of surface contact, so that makes the joint quite strong. So that's what a dowel joint is. So that's just a really, really quick overview of the 4 different types of knockdown fittings that are commonly used in flat pack furniture. Some of those you may recognise. If you don't recognise any of those, you haven't built enough flat pack furniture. So that's something you need to do in the future. I'm sure you will do. I hope the video was useful. See you on the next one.